welcome to Jurassic Park for a minute. We'll be discussing the second Jurassic Park sequel, 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And today we're back to discuss minute 56 of Jurassic Park 3. Before we get to that, David, our weekly featured Jurassic Pedia article is the Park Veterinarian costume guide, which you done over there. And it's just great to see some of these characters, what you can sort of do to cosplay and get the costumes. And unlike the Lost World, where a lot of stuff was designer safari gear, some of the stuff in Jurassic Park here, like the vet outfit, you can get for pretty cheap and readily available. And when someone sees you dressed like that, they know exactly what it is.
Yeah. This is one of those costumes that is very, very popular just because of its simplicity. And you see them at Comic-Cons and stuff all the time. I've been kind of slow in integrating all of our costume guides over to JurassicPedia.com from the old Jurassic Park Legacy Encyclopedia site. And so this was one I kind of just did real quick because somebody had been asking about it on the Replica Prop Forum. And so it's a really simple costume. I mean, you can get this is just a simple safari shirt, pair of blue slacks, and you tuck the blue slacks into some brown galoshes. And the hat is probably one of the more specialized items just because it's the forest green and brown ball cap by Rock Point. But then you add a couple patches to it, and an EMT pouch, and a little gold flashlight on a black belt, and you're good to go.
Yeah, like the hardest thing for this setup would be to get onto eBay and find some of the classic Jurassic Park patches, and which fans do make and sell on there.
Yeah, I actually have a hat of my own that I did. When I was in Missouri one time, I happened to find a hat that just kind of was actually in reverse colors, so the crown is brown and then the bill is green, but it works. I mean, it works for you. You recognize it automatically what it is. And I just sewed the one of those iron-on patches. The patches are actually really easy to find. It's just the yellow patch with the white border and the white and red border. And they sell them at Comic-Cons and online patch stores and eBay, Etsy, Amazon. You can get them pretty much anywhere. They're really easy. I sewed mine on because even though it was iron on, it was starting to peel off. So just in the name of more durability, I sewed it, and I hate sewing.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like iron-on stuff's always good, but always throw a bit of thread in there as well just to hold it on.
Yeah, I tried gluing; it wouldn't stay with the glue. So you get sewn on now. You're stuck there.
Yeah, I think we brought up when we done the Fallen Kingdom review, and when the character of Zia was coming in as a paleo veterinarian. I think we called back to Jerry Harding in the original film, whether he was an actual vet or whether he was working at the San Diego Zoo and got called down to do the job, like the novel said. I'm surprised there's like the no name tag on here, no sort of veterinarian insignia either. We see later on with Jurassic World how they've actually got that vet signage on the Unimogs and that, and some vehicles where maybe it's just we're a bit early, there's no visitors there, so he doesn't really need that sort of stuff on. They're still working out the uniform, or
he does have an ID badge that's worn on the left side of his belt, but you never get a good look at it. You can just kind of see that it's the badge. Yeah, I'd imagine you could. I think the making of actually has a scan of Nedry's ID badge, and you could probably just reword it and put a new picture on of like Gerald Mullen, who was the producer on the movie and played the role of Jerry Harding.
Yeah, but yeah, another great little write up there, and it's just good to see some of these costuming stuff come up and just how easy some of this cosplaying can really be.
And something I kind of forgot in the article, I'll add it later, is that he does wear the aviators that everybody's running around with in these movies.
We weren't far out of the 80s. It's fine. Between that and Malcolm's big Ray-Bans.
Oh, speaking of Malcolm, I figured out his jacket he's wearing, which turns out is actually not a jacket; it's a leather blazer that just doesn't have the flaps over the side pockets. I actually found one on Amazon by BGSD. That's the men's Judd one-button lambskin leather blazer. It's a bit pricey, but I mean, if you're the ultimate fan looking to put together the ultimate wardrobe, black slacks, black shirt, black blazer. There you go. Black sunglasses.
Well, I suppose that's where Ian's sort of a bit easier. Where yes, you can go exact like that, or just generally dressing in black.
Yeah, he is the man in black.
Yeah.
I bet you Eric's in there, don't you think? I'd bet my bottom dollar.
All right, Dave, ready to get into minute 56?
Sure.
All right. As we enter minute 55 of Jurassic Park 3, Billy had been pretty stern to Alan about giving his bag back. Sensing something wrong, Alan looked down and began to unzip his bag to find 2 raptor eggs inside. As we enter on minute 56 of Jurassic Park 3, Grant realises and says how it all makes sense. He now knows why the raptors were so keen to get him earlier in the film. At the 11-second mark, Billy tries to defend himself. I swear if I knew you'd end up with them. I took them on impulse. I thought they'd be worth a fortune. Enough to fully fund the dig for another 10 years. He ends with, look, you have to believe me. It was a stupid decision, but I've done it with the best intentions. Grant replies with the best intentions and moves the words around in his mouth as if it's poison. At the 29-second mark, he lays it all out for Billy. Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions. At the 34-second mark, he takes a step forward and says, look, Billy, as far as I'm concerned, you know better than the people that built this place. At the 43-second mark, Alan walks past Billy, disgusted, towards the observation windows and holds the bag out one of the smashed windows, preparing to drop it into the canyon below. At the 49-second mark, he pauses and looks about himself before looking back into the room, and then pulls the bag back in and starts to put it into his own backpack. And as the minute ends, Paul walks forward and says, what are you doing? Those things are after us because of those. Last minute, Grant discovered Billy's little secret, and after asking him, did you steal raptor eggs, Billy just sort of looks away, guilty as hell. And you sort of Grant trying to hide the anger in his face as he's looking around, and he's not a very happy chappy here. And one thing I noticed too is just how, like, the cut that on his left cheek, how deep it is. We haven't really got some close-ups of his face apart from inside the water tanker, but I don't know if this was from the plane crash or from escaping the raptors earlier, but it's a pretty deep cut there. It looks like it's gone through the skin to the muscle. Good bit of what do you call that? Not prop work. What do you call it when they put fake stuff on someone's face?
Prosthetic?
Oh yeah, good bit of prosthetic work there. Yeah. Grant slowly starts to realise that now it all starts to make sense, realising that's why the raptors were after him specifically and not the rest of the group. But Billy tries his best. He says, I swear if I knew we were going to end up with them. But as he's sort of talking, we get a cut to Paul as he's leaving Eric and Amanda behind, starts walking over towards them, and he just keeps on digging his hole. I took them on an impulse. I thought that'd be enough. I thought that'd be worth a fortune, enough to fund the dig site for another 10 years. But Grant isn't buying it. I suppose having raptor eggs on the mainland to the right buyer would be worth a fortune.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I mean, we do see what the live animals fetch at auction in Fallen Kingdom, so I could imagine that the eggs themselves would fetch a pretty penny as well. I mean, the live animals were worth millions, if not tens of millions, and so these eggs could definitely fund the next 5 years, if not more.
I wonder if they'd still be alive once they got off the island. They haven't really got away off the island yet, so it's sort of got them just in case they are rescued, but there might be a point down the line where they just need food and might have to scramble to keep themselves alive. Like, yeah, fair enough, they're just left in the raptor nests without sort of being looked after, but they do need to be kept warm and moisture to them. But I suppose that's a little bit of a nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
Billy keeps on going. You have to believe me, it was a stupid decision, but I did it with the best intentions, and that's where we sort of get that famous line from Grant: "Best intentions." He sort of wipes his lips in disgust and says, "Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions." And he sort of takes a step forward, staring at Billy, and says, "Billy, as far as I'm concerned, you know better than the people that built this place." Which is a bit harsh. He was looking out for Grant. He was trying to save the dig site, something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was thinking more, hey, these are live dinosaurs, and not, hey, these are velociraptors. Although that's what they're digging, so it probably makes sense he got raptor eggs, but I don't think it's exploiting animals as much as what InGen were trying to do.
No, yeah, I think he was just really more concerned financially than anything, because he knew that, I mean, after this trip, that they were kind of done. And then he also knew that the Kirby's check that had been written for him wasn't really good.
Yeah. So it was probably, as he said, it was a bit of in the novel, he says, a bit of a spare at the moment decision to grab him, and he would have had, both of those things sort of going through his mind. Especially when there's a lot of walking time that we don't see in the film, where they've probably been talking, and I'm sure the conversation has come up, what do we do next if we make it off the island?
Mm-hmm.
But Grant walks past Billy towards the observation windows and holds the bag out in the open. As he does, he sort of walks past that cart that's sitting in the area, and it looks like there's a broken computer tower on top of it, and I was thinking maybe this trolley had computers on it, because we see some monitors on the ground in earlier minutes, and maybe just it's all been knocked off and this is all that's left on that cart. Sort of like back in the day where you had the TV and the VCRs on the trolleys at school and that, where you just easy to move everything around instead of having it all permanently attached or permanently sitting on desks in there, where you can move it over to a window and sort of look at the monitor, look at video feeds or whatever as you're looking down into the aviary itself.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it kind of makes it more mobile, so all you kind of have to do is take it off the truck and plug it in, you know?
Yeah.
If you're afraid that adverse weather is coming, you don't want to leave expensive electronics out there. You can just stick it in the back of a truck and just put it in like a storage thing or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. But sort of Grant thinks for a moment and looks back inside the building, and in the background you can sort of see that CG render of the far side of the canyon and the fog down below. And also, with the blueprints for this building, there's an external walkway that goes around the base of the observation landing, so him holding the bag out the window like this, if he let go of it, it'd only fall about 3 feet to the exterior walkway. So he did look out and over further, so he should have known that walkway was there.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was completed for the final film or not, but those blueprints for the building did have that walkway out there. So
it probably was, but when they're leaving, we never get to see a kind of walkway around the top of the thing, because you can kind of see this viewing station at the top of the aviary when they're on the boat, leaving the aviary behind. And I think it's kind of, they probably built it, and then due to script changes or whatever, they just level the camera so you can't see it, you know?
Yeah, yep. Or even, we know with The Lost World, when script changes happen, they cut down the size of the village and just finish whatever sets they had, and no doubt that's probably the same sort of thing here. You'd think if it did have a walkway outside, there'd be some sort of door going from in this observation area out to that walkway, but from looking around, the only door we see coming and going from the building is that big one. They come in from the front, and then the stairs going down.
Mm-hmm.
But as the minute ends, Paul walks towards Grant, asking, "What are you doing? Those things are after us because of those." Because Grant's pulled the bag back inside and hasn't decided to drop him. And it's interesting as Paul's walking over, you can see sort of a poster or something on the wall behind him.
Yeah, you can see the outline of it, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's too blurry to see, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe some sort of safety poster.